Well, I've finally completed the first chapter in my series of bad movie reviews. This is the last in the lineup that I couldn't find on Rotten Tomatoes, which means that after this I'm going to be watching the ones that got a 0%. Yay. So, anyway, tonight's movie is called Crimson, and this is essentially a drama about a struggling comic book artist who, one night something awful happens to him, which causes him to completely lose his mind, and he becomes this bloodthirsty vigilante. Now, this could have been the setup to a pretty solid movie. I mean, uh, from the sound of that synopsis right there, this could have been something very dark and gritty and disturbing and well done. But it's not. I mean, it was so hard for me to take this film seriously. I wonder whether they were trying to make it completely serious or whether they were going for camp. I mean, at the beginning, it plays out as more of a straight drama film, and it's boring as shit. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm just chalking the whole thing up to it being a bad movie. For one thing, when the main character, Walter, becomes Crimson, uh, he suddenly starts talking with a Batman voice for the rest of the movie. And I'm not even talking about like Michael Keaton's Batman, where it's like, I'm Batman. But rather, he goes full on Christian Bale in this. He goes like, my name isn't Walter, it's Crimson. And it does sound just as forced as I made it look like. Um, but still, just the scenes that involve him and other good guys in the movie were just kind of dull to watch overall. As was the case with the Millennium Bug, it was the bad guys who made this movie easier to sit through. Like in the first scene with the main villain, he's having this parole hearing, and they give him an ink blot test where he starts hearing these screams in his head, and they're the sound effects of all these violent acts. And it's not like he's got a poker face on where you hear that noise and he's just like, no, he's looking at the freaking ink blots like, I see a row of flowers. I mean, Rorschach from Watchmen was more convincing than this guy. And again, it's hard to decipher whether this movie was supposed to be taken seriously or not. There's a scene later on in the film when that same character is doing a very poor rendition of a certain scene from Taxi Driver, and I wondered to myself whether the actor even knew that they were filming him when he did that. And then, easily the cheesiest line in the whole movie was when these gangsters were assaulting Walter's former boss, and once they leave the office, he's not their boss for the record, but once they leave, he yells at them, "You're fired!" I mean, shit, the fucking amount of drama and comedy were just all over the place in this movie. Uh, in the end, I wouldn't necessarily say that Crimson is so bad that it's good, but it is definitely so bad that it's worth watching once for a few good laughs. Don't buy it. I would, if you're interested in seeing this type of movie, then I would recommend checking it out on Netflix or YouTube because it is a lot funnier than Dork of the Rings for sure. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Crimson. I hope you all have a good one.